Right. Thank you, Matthew. Good afternoon, everyone. And again, thank you for joining us. As Matthew indicated, I am Paula Mensa, and I am a supervisory small business specialist in our Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business, which, yes, we affectionately call ourselves OSDBU. I want to thank you for jumping onto the Mass office hours today to learn more about OSDBU and how you can also best market your multiple award schedule. Please note that the information we're providing today reflects the most current guidance available. However, policies and regulations, procedures may change over time. To ensure you have the latest details, we do encourage you to stay informed through our official GSA and government channels. Our goal is to provide you with the most accurate information as of today, and we really do appreciate you understanding as updates arise. The purpose of today's training is to provide you with some perspectives and tips for marketing your GSA contract vehicle. During today's presentation, I will try to provide an overview of our OSDBU office, also discuss how you can manage your mass contract for optimum results. That does include the importance of market research and understanding the tools online that are available to help you conduct that market research so that you can create a targeted strategy to make data-backed decisions. Also, we'll outline the advantages of being a GSA contract holder and answer some of the questions on finding opportunities and really try to give you some overall tips for success. As multiple award schedule holders, you guys are very familiar with us here at GSA. So I'm not going to, go into all of the logistics of who we are. Basically, overarching, we really do strive for procurement excellence here at GSA. As the federal government's procurement experts, we try to make sure that we are providing maximum opportunities for the federal agencies to access effective contracting vehicles, such as the multiple award schedule. We have two major buying arms, our public building services folks who are the real estate side of the house, and we have the Federal Acquisition Service, of course, that's FAST. You guys should be familiar with FAST because they are the gatekeepers for the multiple award schedule. Now, as far as my office, the GSA OSDBU office, who we are. Well, we are congressionally mandated. We have nationwide responsibility for GSA small business programs. And really, we are the chief advocates for small and disadvantaged businesses doing business with GSA. We are here to promote increased access to GSA's nationwide procurement opportunities. We engage in activities such as participating in the mass office hours to bring you information and other training events that we conduct to make it possible for the small business community to, number one, learn more about how they can be effective in working with our agency, perhaps sometimes meet some contracting officers. And really, what we're here to do is help you build those relationships. We do this by connecting small businesses with the right people and the resources to help you grow. We are your advocates. And day to day in OSDBU, we are working with acquisition professionals across GSA to ensure that small businesses are included in our extensive opportunities. Last year alone, GSA awarded over $3.2 billion to small businesses, helping ensure that capable and innovative small bid firms continue to play a key role in delivering solutions to the federal government. One of the main things that we do, we are here for you. We engage in one-on-one meetings with you. If you have not had an opportunity to meet with someone on our staff, I highly encourage you to do so, okay? Part of OSDBU's mission is to improve efficiency and awareness for small businesses. OSDBU has a team of small business technical advisors all across the country in all of our 11 regions. And we provide training, education, and we really give you that assistance in navigating through the federal procurement process, okay? Each OSDBU team or office manages their small business program and for their geographic area. So if you are multiple award schedule contract holder in just say Tennessee, then you would need to reach out to those local small business specialists. And some of my colleagues will drop for you the link to our website where you can go and find out your specific representative and perhaps schedule some of those one-on-one sessions. Next, we'll start talking about how you can set up your multiple award schedule for success. Okay, now you have a multiple award schedule. All right, what's next? Well, the overarching purpose of today's training is to educate you on how to be successful in the federal procurement market. You have taken anywhere from 6 to 18 months to become a mass contract holder. And for that, I do say congratulations and thank you for hanging in there. Now, the real hard part begins. Obtaining, for some of you, your very first contract, and for others, that order that will determine if you meet your sales quota, whether it's an internal quota or external one. So success in the federal arena is largely dependent upon how a small business meets the government's needs, okay, in the most effective manner. Keep in mind that you must allocate time to manage your contract so that you can best promote it for success. Getting the contract takes a lot of time. Promoting it, making sure that all of the players in the federal market are aware of it takes even more time. Still, roughly 90 plus federal agencies utilize the MAS program. That represents a significant amount of the money that is obligated each year, okay, in the federal space. Last count was anywhere close to like 25%. So that is a significant amount of opportunities that are available via the MAS. In order for federal customers to reach you, your contract must remain current and compliant. For FY24, the federal government listed the top 5 contractors receiving contract dollars from federal customers. And that, equated to over $126 billion in awards, okay? And each of those top 5 contractors are GSA multiple award contract holders. So there is a significant amount of work out there. People are being very successful on the MAS, and we want to make sure you are as well. When federal customers have a need, they take steps through market research to determine what industry can fulfill that need at the best value in regards to both technical ability and pricing. The multiple award schedules program provides federal buyers with vendors such as yourself who have agreed to upfront reasonable pricing. Keep in mind that the MAS program is a price-driven contracting vehicle. We are looking for the best value, okay? We're looking for the best value with the most highly qualified contractors. The value added to the government through MAS is tremendous, all right? Assuring that your e-library profiles are another key component of what you must do to be successful. The GSA MAS team provides you with many tools to assist. They have the fast lane process for e-modifications. They have a 24-hour access to vendor support through, they also have this wonderful platform, the MAS office hours. So please make sure you are taking advantage of all of the resources out there. And again, I'm gonna put a plug in for OSDBU. Make sure that you are working with your respective SBTA so that we can help you navigate some of the nuances of doing additional work with GSA. GSA has invested quite a number of resources to develop and manage this widely utilized contracting vehicle. And your success really is our success. We really want you to be successful on it because we have so many agencies that are seeking your products and services. Assuring that your entire company is on board with promoting your mass contract is very, very important. It's going to determine how well your business performs under mass. Keep in mind that some of you may have several team members. Some of the businesses on mass, it may just be you, okay? But either case requires being intentional in your marketing of that mass contract. First off, your marketing team should be seeking out opportunities by being familiar with the agency's forecast tools and promoting the contract to federal buyers. GSA has made it even more streamlined for you because now we are actively going through a process of onboarding even more agencies onto our forecast tool. So you pretty much have a one-stop shop, okay? Also, your sales team, make sure that they know that the actual contract exists. As a former contracting officer, I can tell you that sometimes I have reached out to schedule holders, made that initial call, and the person on the phone didn't have a clue of what I was talking about. You do not want that to happen. You want to make sure that everyone in that company knows that you actually have the contract, who can order from it, and the pricing details, okay? The inability to speak to your specific contract features, that's a form of marketing, but it's a form of marketing that you don't want. Also, make sure you're working with your accounting team. It may be beneficial to know what the reporting requirements are under your specific contract, such as prompt payment and invoicing requirements. You know, you want to take advantage of any nuances that you may have for like early pay, discount opportunities under your invoicing. So make sure your accounting team is there. Make sure that they are segregating your GSA orders from other commercial orders. The reason we recommend that is because it will allow you to know your federal clients and the specific reporting needs and due dates, okay? And again, make sure that those unique reporting requirements and those payments terms are something that your accounting team, is very familiar with. In managing your mass contract, one of the best ways to give the contracting officers a blueprint of what that contract is through your capability statement. Okay, why do you need a capability statement? You may be a business that's, you've been around for years. Why do you still need to maintain that? Well, according to the Small Business Administration, only about half of new small businesses survive during the first 5 years, and only 1/3 make it to 10 years, okay? Being a mass holder provides you an opportunity to reach billions in federal revenue each year. And that gives you an opportunity to be among that third, that elite third who are successful business owners. As stated earlier, federal customers come to the mass contracting vehicle to find qualified vendors with reasonable pricing. That capability statement is a solid and flexible way for them to see what your company offers. As a business, think of it kind of like a resume. And also, it may show up in a RFQ as, they may ask you for a management approach. Well, that's your capability statement, okay? Your ability to respond to that particular requirement. From my experience as a CEO, there's really about 5 core elements that I would look at when it comes to a capability statement. I wanted to see your core competencies, okay? These are the services and solutions that you bring to the market with a very high degree of success. Then I wanted to see your things that set you apart, things that made you different. Also, your past performance. What relevant problems to the acquisition that I have before you that you have solved in the past? What were your outcomes, who was the customer. I looked at those things. Also, corporate data. I wanted to know any type of relevant certifications, your NACE code, your SINs. All of that information should be readily available on that capability statement. And lastly, contact information. I will say you don't want to make that information a treasure hunt. You don't want the federal folks having to really, do a lot of analysis to find your contact information. It should be front and center. Okay, the name, the points of contacts, good telephone numbers, good emails, all of that. Make sure that's there, and make sure that it's digital, of course. Okay, nobody wants paper anymore, of course. So make sure it's digital and that you're able to send that out on the spot. Now we'll take a look at marketing your mass contract. In order to be successful in any business, whether it's a mass contractor, anywhere, any sector, but particularly in the federal market, market research is essential. The unknowns can cause you quite a bit of frustrations in the federal market. You can waste resources. We are massive, okay? We have hundreds of contracting vehicles, thousands of customers. You have to decide which of these federal rabbits you want to chase, and you need the data to do that. Make sure that you know who your competitors are, who holds the current contract, and when does it expire. Data can help you find answers to the unknown and be proactive in capturing potential opportunities to build your sales pipeline. It is always better to market before the need is there, okay? Because you are providing a point of reference beforehand. And in order for you to know before the need is there, you have to do your market research, look at the data, and see when was that particular service or commodity purchase in the past by that specific agency. And we'll talk about some of the free data tools that are available for you to do that. You also want to see how much they are buying. Okay, once you reach these agencies and you narrow it down, you want to see how much they're buying, how are they being awarded, are they using the multiple award schedule, are they using set-asides? All of that information is really critical in order for you to stay competitive in the market. The further back into the acquisition life cycle you can get, the better little golden nuggets you will find for marketing success. When we're doing our contracts as contracting officers, we're often pulling from prior contract history and information and performance. So, okay, you should also, as you are seeing the federal market change and a lot of the contracting vehicles moving about, you are going to definitely want to stay abreast of how some of those actions were purchased in the past, because it'll give you a framework for the level of qualifications that are required, okay? Across the federal landscape, we do have several free e-tools that have been developed to assist you with accessing federal acquisition data. One of the great resources is that GSA e-library. As a mass contract holder, you definitely should be familiar with that. You are on that. This is how you learn about your competition on the GSA schedule. This is how you can view their pricing, gather other important, pertinent information about contract performance periods. And, as vendors are onboarded and removed from mass daily, staying current on it is a must. You want to make sure that you're taking a look at it for potential teaming arrangements, which we'll talk about later. Really, that GSA e-library is a go-to for multiple award schedule holders. Also, another great tool that GSA has is the schedule sales query tool. It provides sales figures reported by GSA schedule vendors. A while back, our fast folks recognized that many of the schedule holder suppliers wanted to know the numbers. They wanted to know how other vendors were doing. So they developed the Schedule Sales Query Plus, and you can go on that dashboard, do some drill down, do some, set some parameters on particular products and services, and then you can see how much other competitors are, receiving in awards under their multiple award schedule. If you have had a mass contract for 2 to 3 years and you haven't been successful in obtaining an order or multiple orders, the SSQ is a great way for you to determine if you are being competitive in pricing. Keep in mind, federal customers come to mass for a streamlined, cost-effective method to fulfill their needs. Another resource is USA Spending. On that, you can find out federal agencies' spending priorities, some of their budget information. It is sourced through FPDS, and I often tell contractors to go to usaspending.gov first, because it's a little bit easier, in my opinion, to maneuver than FPDS. It makes available federal procurement reports all the way from FY 2000 forward. So it really can give you some of that long-term acquisition history that I was referring to, that gives you some of those nuggets. Other tools that you may find useful in conducting market research, of course, is the buy.gsa.gov site. GSA Interacts helps industry and government become help us communicate better. Okay. For those of you who do have services or products that are heavy in the DoD arena, I do know for a fact that our AAS folks do a great job with their pipeline interactions under GSA Interact. If you are not a part of those, I think they conduct them most of the time monthly. So you want to make sure you sign up and get on those. They give some really good information on acquisitions that are coming down the pipeline. I will say that, it's a great way for you to have direct communication with key agency stakeholders. So get on that buy.gsa.gov site and get on your appropriate GSA Interact group. GSA eBuy. Now, it is one of the most advantageous characteristics of the eBuy online program. Federal customers like the features, okay, which means that they are more likely to use it. They find that the GSA eBuy site is easy to use, easy to maneuver. So you will be receiving your RFIs, your RFQs, all of that. Okay, so it is really a great free perk for you mass contractors to have a consolidated site where the contracting officials can go and get their requirements addressed. Okay, that is great for you guys, because that means that they can easily go in, use the resource, and quickly get what they need. Also, the GSA Vendor Support Center. The support center is there to assist you with your contract management, reporting your sales, anything technical that you may have going on with your mass contract. Reach out to the vendor support center. I will say also, sometimes we have contractors who have, some really nuanced things that they're trying to get done, and they may find that they are kind of stalling with getting the support that they need. As I indicated, OSDBU is your advocate. Make sure that you're coming to us, letting us know how we can best help you, okay? So keep that in mind, that we are a resource also. And one tool that's not up here that I did want to highlight is the Census Bureau Builder. Now, it is a particularly useful tool because it provides demographic and economic data tailored to the different business types and locations that you filter by. The Census Bureau has various data tools, but the CBB, and the team will drop that link in for you. It gives small business owners some practical insight into analyzing market trends. It helps you identify your customer demographics. And for a multiple award schedule holder, it really can help you make sure that you have access to the right workforce. You're in the right area to get the workforce that you need for the different orders that you may be going after, and whether it's in manufacturing or whatever. But it'll help you be really successful in getting your staffing up. So you do want to take a look at that Census Bureau builder tool. GSA has a very sophisticated online shopping and ordering system called GSA Advantage, and it is a must for a schedule holder. You have a requirement that you must submit your electronic company catalog to the GSA Advantage. It was within 6 months. Now I think it may be a little shorter than that. You want to get it in there no later than 30 days, to be honest with you, because once you are awarded the contract, you hit the ground running, and you want to make sure that federal customers know exactly what you have available in your catalog. Okay. And if you're having some issues with that, again, the vendor support staff is there to assist you, but make sure that you are getting on that GSA Advantage, because that is like shopping heaven for contracting officers. We use that thing a lot. All right, now that you've conducted your market research, you can now develop your agency profiles. That's another great way for you to market successfully your mass contract by identifying your target agencies and departments. You use the data from your market research to help you target the departments and agencies that you will find the most leverage. Not all departments and agencies will buy your thing. So your agency profile should be a quick glance of the information about the target agencies that are specific for you. As a mass contract holder, you should have probably about 5 agency profiles that you've conducted. Look at the budget information. What are their funding priorities? Okay. Who are the key players? One of the things that we do in OSDBU is we conduct matchmaking sessions where we bring you in front of some of our contracting staff, and we help you one-on-one. You want to make sure you are starting to participate again in those matchmaking sessions. If you are a contract holder who's been on schedule for a while, you may not be, participating on a regular basis. As we are seeing changes across the federal government with, program managers, contracting officers, you want to find out now who are the decision makers. Okay, so reach out to your OSDBU folks, see if they can get you connected on some of the great matchmaking opportunities that are going on. Also, you want to know what upcoming opportunities are going on at your particular agency that is a part of your profile. I just highlighted quite a few for GSA, some things that we're doing. You want to make sure you are a part of that. Look at the competition. What kind of companies typically go after the work for that particular agency? What are their skill sets? Okay, make sure that you can match up with them. So those agency profiles are a great way to get your marketing kicked off. Okay, so far you've been managing that mass contract well. You've conducted some market research to see who buys your products or services. And you may have even used some of the GSA tools that I've spoken about. Well, hopefully you don't think that that's enough. Now you got to actually find the opportunities. All right. You got to find those actual federal dollars. And how do you do that? One of the most popular ways that the federal procurement staff develops their acquisition strategy is by using a request for information. Really, that is the government's attempt to really engage with you as industry. I know that sometimes it feels like those RFI responses go into some black hole, but they do not. As contracting officers, they are inundated with a lot of different requirements. And sometimes you may even find that some of those RFI responses go to like a general inbox, and then they have to weed through them, make sure they are lining them up. So they do want to hear from you in industry. Make sure you're responding to those. That is how that contracting officer is going to shape their requirement. Okay, make sure that when you're responding, that your primary NAICE code under your schedule aligns with the government's need in the RFI. Identify any contract teaming arrangements that you may be proposing. Okay, make sure that you clearly state your interest. Okay, it is not an offer. Okay, but you need to clearly state, yes, if this becomes available, I do intend to submit an offer. After we have the government determine our strategy to obtain goods or services, then we go to the next step of giving you, the industry, an opportunity to provide your solution by issuing a request for quote. Under the MAS program, it will normally center around efficiency and cost. Again, the MAS program is a cost, efficient way of obtaining the goods and services that we need in the government. You're going to get a statement of work or a performance work statement sometimes. You may even get a bill of materials, okay? You may get some evaluation criteria depending on how complex the requirement is. And all of that needs to be addressed, okay? Make sure you're looking at everything, looking at, all of the criteria and providing your pricing, your delivery, and payment terms. And I just wanted to, reiterate some RFQ tips here. Really, the main one, is just to read it. You really have to read each one of those requests and make sure that you're responding to the specific questions that are in there, okay? Let's talk a little bit about contract and teaming arrangements, which is a great way under the MAS schedule for you to increase your footprint. When responding to RFQs, you may find it beneficial to utilize a contractor teaming agreement. They are a really great way to establish government business if you find that you're new on the schedule and you haven't gotten those first few orders yet. It's a little wordy here, but I wanted you guys to see in detail what the contract teaming arrangement is. You can read this, take a look at it. I will say that under MAS, you can have a CTA for mass orders or for blanket purchase agreements, okay? These could be orders and BPAs that you would otherwise not qualify for. And we have seen some really great success with CTAs, particularly for BPAs. And as the acquisition process becomes more streamlined across the government, BPAs are another tool in the CO's toolbox. So make sure that you are maximizing your MAS by also submitting proposals for BPAs. Again, here is, some very detailed information on what CTAs are. We do have a link that'll take you to some of the most current guidance on it that my colleagues will drop in the chat for you, or the Q&A. Whether you are looking to just get, contract and teaming arrangement to chase one requirement, make sure that you are clear on who is doing what, okay? There should not be any ambiguity. Contracting officers want to know who is responsible for what, and that has to be clear in your contract and teaming arrangement. And one unique thing with CTAs when it comes to small business set-asides, if you are competing for a contract set aside for small businesses, keep in mind that all team members must meet the socioeconomic status and the limitations of subcontracting rules and regulations, okay? So keep in mind that if you are going to go after a small business set-aside as a CTA, that all of the players meet the category of being a small business. Why do we like CTAs? I told you we've been having some great success, really because from a government's standpoint, it gives us a total solution, okay? We get, a 2-for-1. We get two great contractors who can come together and solve this, the problem that we have. Also, it gives us an opportunity to meet some of our small business procurement goals, okay? We can get credit, for small businesses under some of these CTAs. For the GSA schedule contractors, you guys benefit from it because it gives you an opportunity to drive up your market share. Okay, you can compete for more schedule orders when you are teaming with another MAS contract holder. You can reduce your risk. That's a big one by sharing the responsibility across other team members. You're able to focus on the supplies and services that really best match your company resources and strengths. So that's a big one. And again, as a small business, it's a great way to grow. Okay. Here are some additional resources that may assist you in locating federal opportunities. The GSA forecast tool is one. This link here will take you, the second one, the agency recurring procurement forecast. That'll take you to some of the other OSDBUs and some of the other forecast tools. But as I said, a lot of the agencies are coming over to GSA, so you really do want to start with our forecast tool first. And here is our forecast tool. We launched it back in 2016, and it's been growing significantly ever since. We have a number of agencies on there right now, and it's really a great way for you to go on and to see what actions we have in the pipeline. In OSDBU, we do a training specifically on the forecast tool. So if you want to go to gsa.gov/events, you can find out when we'll be conducting another training specifically on the forecast tool. And here's just some, a screenshot of some of the things you're going to see. It's going to tell you what we're looking for. It's going to tell you the type of awardee. This one we were looking for a small business. So, it's a really good resource to find opportunities. Another way to find opportunities is by utilizing SAM.gov. You can use it to track RFIs and sources salts, things that may not have been posted on eBuy yet. Okay, so make sure that although you are a MAS contract holder, that you are not neglecting the frequent review of SAM.gov. As we are wrapping up today, you've received quite a few tricks of the trade, and I really just want to wrap up with some final tips for success. First of all, in order to be a player, you have to be responding. You have to be responding to RFIs and sources salt. That's a form of marketing actually, because the more you are out there, the more that contracting group gets familiar with you as a company. If 2 or more companies are found in the RFI process, that are small businesses, that action may be set aside for small businesses. So we in OSDBU really do want you guys responding. Industry days, make sure that you're going. Again, like I said, get out to those matchmaking events, those industry days, so you can get re-familiar with who the players are now in these different agencies. Make sure you're doing that. Also, make sure that you're managing your time at the matchmaking events. We talked about that. And then just network really with other contractors who have BPAs, who may be on OASIS, who may have a GWAC. Make sure you are reaching across to some of the other GSA contractors who have had great success on schedule. And check eBuy. Check eBuy often for opportunities. Things are posted on eBuy, that give you a heads up on some sources salt, things like that. So make sure you're frequently checking your eBuy. Well, that is it as far as the presentation. So I am going to stop sharing my screen and see if we have any questions.
All right, thank you.